What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today's video is all about how I turn my inspiration and my mood boards or fit boards into real cut and sew designer garments. This video is inspired by IX Moves 2261, who said, "Do you have specific methods on how you come up with a design from scratch? I watched your other videos on designing, but you didn't go in depth where you look for inspiration and how you take those ideas to make something new." So great question. Thanks for your message. I will address this completely in this video. And if you're new here, my name is Chris Drago. I run a brand called Pathos of Things, and I am also a fashion designer and creative director. I also run a free Skool community called the Fashion Brand Vault. We're at 559 members now, and here I host all of my free materials, and I also have a brand new pro community. We just hit 4 members. It is not free, but here you get lots of extra support, a private Discord, weekly office hours, Notion templates, AI tools and workflows, and more. So without further ado, let's get into the video. When I am designing a garment from scratch, I always start with a fit board, which is basically a mood board, but instead of focusing on the mood or the vibe, I focus on specific outfits and specific garments that inspire me in my creation process at the beginning of putting a collection together or a capsule drop. So this is just a screenshot of one of my fit boards. I used Pinterest to make this fit board. So let's actually jump back over to my browser. So I have Pinterest here, as you can see, and when I hover over one of these images, this little save button with this little pink and purple circle pops up. If I press that save button, this right panel opens up here, and then I can save any of these images to a software called Make the Dot. And Make the Dot is kind of like Milanote. It's kind of like Figma. I use Figma too. But it allows you to just curate all of those pins from Pinterest and then put them into a board. I made an entire video where I break down my Pinterest workflow, and I actually created this Gorpcore mood board from scratch on video. Be sure to go and check that out after this video. This is what that Gorpcore mood board looks like, but that's not the focus of today. Today we're going to be focusing more on the fit board. I'll go through Pinterest and I might look up a specific keyword related to the outfits that I'm inspired by or that I want to draw inspiration from. And then I'll put them in a board like this. So this is the fit board that I did for what at the time I was calling the pre-fall capsule, but this ended up being the first drop in P2, which stands for Pathos 2. Here's my brand's website. This is the brand Pathos of Things, and this is the most recent drop for P2. Today I'm going to break down this shirt, specifically this white noise shirt. So these are the official e-com photos, and I have some editorial style photos as well, and I'll make another video about my Shopify website and all that. But for now, let's go back to the fit board. So the main piece that inspired me to make the white noise shirt is this cotton denim overshirt from Scotch and Soda. I actually own this shirt. I wear it out all the time. And usually when I wear a piece of clothing out often, I want to make it my own, and I like to wear my own clothes out primarily. I usually don't wear a lot of other brands when I go out, like to parties or anything like that. I prefer to wear my own clothes that I design. So I decided I had worn this shirt enough times where it really inspired me and I wanted to make my own version of it. So as you can see, I picked this shirt here from the fit board, and then that's where I started. You could argue that you don't even need to put a fit board together. You can just start with that garment, but I think putting the fit board together is really important because it allows me to think about what other pieces this one garment will go well with. Because I wasn't just creating a one-off drop or a one-piece drop, I was planning a whole collection. So naturally, I would need to also design other clothes that go well with this product. So the fit board is kind of like the first place where that entire idea starts to come to life. After I picked this piece as my starting point, I then drew a sketch in Figma, which looks like this. So I have this file open here. This is the white noise shirt mock-up that I drew using the pen tool in Figma. If you use an iPad with the Apple Pencil, for example, it's very easy to just draw this by hand, but I did this just with the mouse and the Figma pen tool. I sketched up the front of the shirt. I put my logo on there for the tag, and then I put the emblem just scattered asymmetrically around the shirt because that's what I wanted. I wanted to put my emblem on the shirt, but I didn't want to just do it like this. This is the black shirt mock-up. I haven't released or even sampled a black version of the shirt. But when I was looking at the two, I thought adding the asymmetrical pattern of the emblem just made the shirt feel a little bit more unique. So I sketched it up from the front and from the back, and I put these little P emblems in very specific locations. And this is the finished product. So as you can see, all of these little P emblems or logos are in the exact same spots as on the mock-up. So I'll get to how that happens in a second. The way that works is the tech pack and the pattern that I sent to the manufacturer have these little emblems in the exact locations that they need to be embroidered, and then a machine will embroider those emblems onto the garment. So this is a photo of Booba. He's an amazing model. We shot these in New York City. Max Durante is the photographer, and I'm really, really happy with how this product came out. But this is a little bit of a spoiler alert. We're going to get there. We're going to talk a little bit more about the tech pack and the designing and the manufacturing in a second. But I just wanted to show you this now to see, or to rather show you how I go from sketch to full product, full cut and sew designer product. After I make the sketch, I then move on to creating a design document. So this document gives the atelier a clear roadmap on how to design the product the way that I envision it. I work with a specific atelier, and she uses a digital software called Clo or Clo 3D. That's how I achieve custom cut and sew designer clothes. I send her this design spec, and this is really, really important. Basically, all this is like the pre-design document where I lay out all the details for my idea. So then when I send it to a designer and they're using a software like Clo or Clo 3D, they have a blueprint or a roadmap and they're not just winging it. The last thing you want is for a designer to just wing it, because they're usually going to do whatever is the most time and cost effective for them rather than what is best in line with your vision. So the design spec document starts with a design description. And if you have never built anything like this before, don't worry. I actually have a custom GPT that I use and some awesome prompts that are in the paid Skool community. So if you are curious and you want to kind of skip the line on this, check out the paid Skool community and get all of the design specs and templates there. This design description says at the very top, style and fit. The style is an oversized denim shirt / jacket hybrid with a relaxed and comfortable fit. There's a generous cut through the shoulders, chest, and waist, allowing for ample movement and layering opportunities. Originally, I had mentioned that I wanted this in a black wash, but I ended up changing this to a white cotton twill. The black wash I ended up using for the denim jacket that is also out. This is on the Pathos website. Feel free to check it out. So I still used the medium weight denim black in a black wash, but for the button-down shirt, we ended up going with a cotton twill. Then I defined the neckline and collar, comfortably fitted around the neck with a neat collar that can stand up or lay flat, pointed collar design, drop shoulder design to emphasize the oversized nature and to enhance comfort, horizontal yoke across the back for enhanced structure, chest roomy enough to accommodate layering without looking bulky, and so on. So I detail the fabric, neckline and collar, shoulders, yoke, chest, pockets, sleeves, cuffs, hem, closure, waist, length, and buttons or trims. Next, for construction details, I add some information about the seams, the stitching, and the interior details. So this shirt has a viscose lining along the shoulders and back, which makes it very soft and comfortable and also makes it really easy to slip on and off, whether you're wearing an undershirt or not. Next, I have photo and fit references. As you can see, I detailed the drop shoulder, the front and back yoke. The length is slightly cropped just below the belt, and I have silver round snap buttons on the front, chest pocket, and wrists. Once the design spec is done, I send it to the atelier. So this is Skool. She is based in Turkey, and she is awesome. She uses Clo 3D. She is a member of the free fashion brand vault community, so you can connect with her there. But if you'd prefer me to make a personalized introduction and help you speed up the process, I offer this for everyone in the paid group. So what I ask from Skool is for her to create a pattern or patterns for the garment, prepare a tech pack, deliver 3D renders, the full pattern file, the source file from Clo 3D so I can open it in my own Clo 3D, and then also my manufacturer uses Clo 3D as well, so if any last minute changes need to be made to the design, the manufacturer can just open up the source file and change it there without me having to go back and forth again with the atelier. 360 rotation videos with 3D renders of the garment, and then also a process video, so like a sped up time lapse of her in the software actually designing the piece based on my design spec that I sent her. And all of this takes about 10 days and $235. So very affordable, saves a lot of time. And then also really the key thing here is that besides the fact that I'm creating a cut and sew designer garment, I don't have to go back and forth with the manufacturer several times for samples. Because as long as Skool and I really nail the design in Clo 3D, at least in my experience, I will only need to make one sample from the manufacturer before I give it the green light and we go into full production. Before I worked this way, I often would just make a design with like a mock-up pack, and it would look something like this, but then the design process would kind of stop here and I would let the manufacturer just kind of run with it. And usually that resulted in a sample that wasn't quite right, or it wasn't exactly how I was envisioning it. And then I would have to send them revisions, and then they'd have to make another sample, and that could take another month, especially if you're working with an overseas manufacturer, like a manufacturer in China, and you're based in the US or you're based in Europe. It might take 3 to 4 weeks for you to get that second sample. And then God forbid you need to make another revision and make a third sample. It could be another 3 weeks before you get your third sample. And each time you're paying that sample cost again, because it costs the manufacturer the same amount of time and fabric and labor to create each sample. It's not like it gets really much easier or less time consuming for them each time you make revisions. So the less samples you can make, the better. It's more eco-friendly and it's more time and more money efficient. Moving on. So these are the deliverables. Skool sends me a tech pack. Patterns, which if you're unfamiliar with the term pattern, it just means the exact specifications that the manufacturer has to cut and sew in order to make the garment. Having custom patterns is essential for making designer clothing. If you don't have a custom pattern, chances are that means you are just printing on a blank. And if you're just printing on a blank, then it's really not designer clothing per se. Anyone can get a mock-up and print on a blank, like a screen print with a regular design or logo. That doesn't necessarily make it designer by any means. So here's an example of the tech pack for the white noise shirt. So this is the professional drawing that Skool made. Obviously this looks much better than my little mock-up that I made in Figma. The P emblem is scattered asymmetrically across the shirt in the exact same locations as I defined in my sketch. Page 2 has some specific details about the tag, like you could see here, straight cut, no fold, inner lining pocket along the seam, pleats on the back, which are nice little embellishments to give the design a little bit extra flair, details for the embroidery, and then pleats on the wrists as well. At the bottom of page 2, we have the fabric. So there's the cotton twill, navy blue viscose for upper interior lining along the back yoke. And the thread color is white to match the cotton twill. The emblem color, it's kind of hard to see, but this is a navy blue. Here are the metal snap buttons with their specific dimensions, as well as the P emblem and the inside label details with the main word mark logo. Page 3 shows how to measure the garments. When I exported the file, or rather imported the file into Figma, it for some reason lost the numbers associated, but in the final tech pack that the manufacturer gets, there are numbers associated with each of these lines. So like this is 1, and this is 2, and then this is 3, and this is 4. The measurements related to those numbers are on page 4, the next page. So this has all of the specific dimensions to the centimeter on how to measure every piece of fabric that needs to be cut and sewn for this garment. Then I have 3D renders here from Osgore. These are exported directly from Clo3D. We have the front, the side, and the back. These are extremely accurate. As you could see, the 3D renders end up looking exactly how the garment looks in real life. As long as the design spec is solid, the tech pack is solid, and the pattern sheet is solid. So let me show you the pattern sheet in a second. These 3D renders with a 360 rotating video, this looks really good, and these are great for social media. These go crazy on Instagram. People love watching these. And also they're short, right? So you could have it rotate one time, that's 5 seconds, and then that's your whole Instagram reel, and if it loops hundreds of times, it ends up being hundreds of views. So that's a little social media hack. Next, she sends the process videos. So this also works really well on social media, and I have this on my website, on the homepage of my website. So this is a time lapse of Clo3D, like the actual design process using Clo or Clo3D to create this pair of jeans that I ended up launching. But she sends me these for all the garments that we work on together. If we go back to the home page and then scroll down, here's that video. So this is towards the bottom of the website, the homepage of the website, where I have like the main hero image, and then I have another little video, and then product images, some editorial style photos, and then the process video here. And last but not least are patterns. So the patterns are really important because anything that gets cut and sewn by a machine can use this to get extremely accurate measurements. Everything that's made in Clo3D is based on the dimensions of a real person. So these measurements are very accurate and very specific. If the machine cuts and sews the garment pieces based on these dimensions, it will look exactly how the 3D render looks. So to reiterate and give a little bit of an overview, the deliverables include the tech pack, the patterns, which I just showed you, the 3D renders, and the process videos. If you get all 4 of these things, you will be able to send them to your manufacturer and make professional cut and sew designer garments. You won't just be printing on blanks, and you won't be doing print on demand. You'll actually be taking the next step as a fashion designer and creative director. Here I have more design notes for different design spec documents for other pieces. So here I have one for a t-shirt. I have some photo and fit references, key measurements and details, construction details, where I want to put the logos. Here's a pair of pants that I made. I released these as well. The fit and photo references are from Prada. I was really inspired by these Prada nylon gabardine trousers with this zip fly hook and bar closure. I knew I really wanted to use this black nylon fabric, so I put all of that in the design spec, and then Osgore sent me the tech pack and 3D renders and the patterns for these pants as well. And these pants, my version of these pants, look like this. So this is the flat lay product imagery, and then here are the on-model photos of the nylon pants. These are, to this day, my favorite piece that I've ever released. And they came out in April. So that's pretty much it for this video. Just to recap, I use Pinterest and Make the Dot to put together my fit boards. I will then pick a garment that inspires me, draw a sketch of that garment, and then I create a design spec. I send this design spec to an atelier that uses Clo. They design the garment in Clo and then send me a tech pack, patterns, 3D renders, and process videos, which I then send to my manufacturer. They will then create a sample. The sample is usually great the first time, and then I give them the green light and we put that product into production. Once the product is in production and I have my bulk order, I will then do a full photo shoot and video shoot, which I made a video about, but I'll make more content about that later this week actually, and I'll talk a little bit about how I use Pinterest and also Cosmos, which is another great mood boarding tool, to create vibe boards that I then will use as inspiration for my photo shoot. So that's another video that'll be coming out this week. Be on the lookout for that. Be sure to join the Fashion Brand Vault, especially the paid community if you're looking for a little bit of extra hand-holding and a private Discord community filled with more advanced founders. If you're just starting out, that's totally fine. I recommend checking out the free community. There's a lot of awesome information in here that will help you get started. My name is Chris Drago. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you found this valuable at all, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.